I still don't know how it found me. I don't browse the deep web. I'm not into weird conspiracy forums, and I keep my social media pretty locked down. But that link wasn't just a random invitation. It felt targeted. And looking back, clicking it was the worst mistake of my life. It started last Thursday. I was winding down after a late shift at the warehouse, just sitting on my couch in my crappy off-campus apartment, mindlessly scrolling on my phone. It was around 2:30 a.m. The apartment block was dead silent. My phone buzzed. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I figured it was spam. It came from a number I didn't recognize, just a string of zeros, no area code. The message itself was just a link. No text, no context. The URL was weird too. It didn't end in com or anything normal. It just ended in /red. Like an idiot, curiosity got the better of me. You know how it is when you're tired and not thinking straight. I tapped the link. My browser opened to a completely black page. In the dead center was a single, pixelated icon of a red door. Below it was a text box asking for a 6-digit key. I almost laughed. It felt like some stupid ARG or an edgy marketing prank. I closed the tab and tossed my phone under the cushion next to me. 10 seconds later, my phone buzzed again. Same unknown sender. It was just 6 numbers, 842,910. My stomach dropped a little. That was creepy. How did they know I was on the site? I hesitated, listening to the hum of my refrigerator in the quiet apartment. I grabbed the phone again, reopened the tab, and typed in the code. The screen shifted instantly. It loaded a live stream. The video quality was grainy, like an old security camera, and the audio was just a low, static hiss. The camera was pointed at a small, confined room. Everything in the frame was bathed in an intense, suffocating red light, like a photography darkroom gone wrong. There was a metal chair in the center of the room, facing away from the camera. But what really unsettled me was the chat box on the right side of the screen. It was scrolling fast. The usernames were just gibberish, like user7734 or WatcherX. They were talking about me. He's in. Took him long enough. Do you think he recognizes the chair, Jason? I froze. Seeing my actual name in that chat turned my blood to ice. I looked back at the video feed, squinting through the red haze. The chair. It was an old, rusty metal folding chair with a faded sticker on the back leg. I had the exact same chair in my kitchen. I'd bought it at a garage sale 3 towns over. He's noticing, another user typed. The camera angle on the live stream suddenly shifted. It wasn't automated. It moved with a shaky, handheld motion. The operator walked slowly around the chair. The room wasn't empty anymore. In the corner, illuminated by the red glow, was a pile of clothes. A gray hoodie with a specific college logo. A pair of worn-out Nikes. I looked down at my own feet. I was wearing those exact shoes. I looked toward my bedroom door, where my laundry basket was overflowing. My gray hoodie should have been right on top. I stood up, my heart hammering against my ribs. I ran to my bedroom and flicked on the light. The laundry basket was empty. I scrambled back to the living room, phone clutched in my sweating hand. The live stream had changed again. The camera operator was now holding up a piece of paper to the lens. It was my electric bill, the one I had just taken out of the mailbox that afternoon and left on my kitchen counter. The chat was going berserk now. Show HIMTHE door. He's panicking. Time for the guest of honor. I looked towards my own kitchen. My electric bill was gone from the counter. On the screen, the camera whipped around. It was now pointing at a wooden door. The wood grain, the scratches near the handle, the cheap brass knob. It was identical to the closet door in my hallway right now. The one directly behind me. He's looking behind him, someone typed in the chat. On the live stream, I watched in horror as the brass knob on the screen started to slowly turn. At the exact same time, I heard a squeak behind me in my real apartment. The knob on my hallway closet door was turning. I didn't wait to see what was inside. I dropped my phone and bolted out the front door, sprinting down 3 flights of stairs in my socks. I didn't stop running until I hit the main road and saw the lights of an all-night gas station. I sat in that gas station until the sun came up, shaking. When I finally got the nerve to go back with the landlord the next morning, my apartment was completely normal. My clothes were in the basket. The electric bill was on the counter. The closet was just full of old coats. I tried to tell myself it was a hallucination from lack of sleep. I almost believed it until I bought a new phone today and logged into my cloud photos. There was a new picture in my camera roll, timestamped at 3:45 a.m. last night. It was a photo of me, curled up asleep in the booth at the gas station, taken from just inches away. I'm writing this from a Motel 6 off the highway because I'm currently too terrified to go back to my own house. If you ever get the late-night urge to buy one of those deep web mystery boxes, just for kicks or a stupid YouTube video, don't. Trust me, you do not want to know what they put inside them. My name is Mark. I live in a pretty standard suburban rental house, the kind where all the driveways look the same. It started last Friday night. I was bored, winding down after a long week at work, just mindlessly scrolling through videos on my laptop. It was around 2:30 a.m. I ended up down a rabbit hole of dark web unboxing videos. Most of them looked totally staged, just people pulling fake blood and spooky dolls out of cardboard boxes for views. But being tired and not thinking straight, curiosity got the better of me. I figured, why not? I loaded up the Tor browser, navigated to a marketplace that looked like it hadn't been updated since 2005 and found a listing with 0 reviews. Mystery package tier 1. No questions asked. The price was $200 in Bitcoin. I transferred the crypto and went asleep, honestly expecting to get scammed and receive nothing at all. The first red flag was how fast it arrived. No shipping company works that fast, especially for an illicit site. Saturday morning, not even 10 hours later, there was a box sitting on my front porch. It was a plain, beat-up cardboard box taped shut with excessive amounts of duct tape. No shipping label, no return address, just my house number scrawled in thick black marker on the top. When I picked it up, it felt heavier than it looked, and it smelled faintly of damp earth and something metallic, like old pennies. I took it inside and set it on my kitchen island. The silence in the house suddenly felt very heavy. I grabbed a utility knife and sliced through the layers of tape. The top layer was just crumpled up newspaper pages from a town I'd never heard of, dated 3 years ago. I pulled them out. The first actual object was a VHS tape. No label, just a black cassette that looked like it had been buried underground. I don't even own a VCR, so I set it aside, already feeling a knot forming in my stomach. This wasn't fun creepy. It just felt dirty. I reached back in. The next item was a burner phone, one of those old, indestructible Nokias with a cracked screen. It didn't have a battery cover. As soon as my fingers brushed against it, the screen lit up green. It didn't ring. It just vibrated once against the cardboard. A single text message appeared on the tiny pixelated screen. Keep going. My hands were starting to sweat. I almost threw the box out right then, but it's like watching a car crash. You can't look away. I had to know what was at the bottom. I reached deep into the box, and my fingers closed around something cold and metal. I pulled it out and dropped it immediately. It clattered loudly on my kitchen counter. It was a set of keys on a rusted ring. I recognized them instantly. My breath caught in my throat. They were my spare house keys. The exact set I kept hidden inside a fake sprinkler head near my garage door just in case I locked myself out. I ran to the garage door and looked outside. The fake sprinkler head was gone, just a small hole remaining in the dirt. Panic finally took over. I wasn't dealing with some edgy seller in another country sending random junk. Whoever sent this was local. They knew where I lived. They had been to my house while I was asleep. The old Nokia on the counter buzzed again, making me jump. Another text message. Nice blue shirt, Mark. I froze. I looked down at my chest. I was wearing an old, faded blue navy t-shirt. Then I heard it, a sound that made my blood run cold. Creak. It came from directly above me, the distinct sound of a floorboard shifting in my upstairs hallway, right outside my bedroom door. The realization hit me harder than a physical punch. The box hadn't just been delivered to my porch. The person who packed it hadn't left. They were still inside my house. I didn't grab my keys. I didn't grab the box. I just turned and bolted out the back sliding glass door, hopping my fence and sprinting 2 blocks until I got to a busy gas station. I called the cops from there, shaking so hard I could barely speak. They searched the house. No one was there, but the box on the counter was gone. The keys were gone. The only thing left behind was the burner phone. The cops said it was probably a sick prank by someone I knew, but they didn't sound convinced. They took the phone for evidence, but I haven't heard back. I'm staying at this motel now. I can't go back there. But the worst part isn't the fear of someone breaking in again. It's that 20 minutes ago, I got a text message on my actual personal smartphone from an unknown number. It was a picture taken from across the street of this motel, showing my room window with me sitting on the bed. If I hadn't been so dead tired from pulling a double shift at the warehouse, maybe I wouldn't have clicked it. But curiosity is a nasty thing, and right now, I'm writing this from a library computer 3 towns over because I'm too terrified to even be in the same room as my own laptop. My name is Tyler. I live alone in a pretty standard apartment complex just off the highway. It was Tuesday night, around 2:15 a.m. I was sitting on my sagging couch, laptop on my knees, mindlessly scrolling through Reddit trying to wind down. The apartment was dead silent except for the occasional semi-truck rumbling past outside. I minimized my browser to check my desktop for a document I needed in the morning, and that's when I saw it. It was just sitting there in the middle of my wallpaper. It was a plain white text document icon. I hadn't downloaded anything. I hadn't even opened an email attachment in days. The file name was Stark, just 7 lowercase letters, unopened, TXT. You know that feeling when you're driving late at night and you see something weird on the side of the road, and you know you should just keep driving, but you slow down anyway? That's what I felt. Like an idiot, I chuckled. I figured it was some weird Windows glitch, or maybe a leftover prank from when my buddy Dave remoted into my machine for gaming last week. I moved the cursor and double-clicked the file. Notepad opened to a completely blank white page. There was nothing there. No hidden message, no spooky ASCII art, just a blinking cursor at the top left. I waited a few seconds, felt stupid for being nervous, and moved to click the X in the corner to close the window. That's when the first weird thing happened. My trackpad froze, the cursor wouldn't budge. Then text started appearing on the blank notepad page. It wasn't being typed out. Blocks of text just slammed onto the screen all at once. It looked like corrupted code, just lines and lines of gibberish symbols, squares, and question marks. A cold chill went down my spine that had nothing to do with the drafty window. I tried to force quit the application with keyboard shortcuts. Nothing happened. I held down the physical power button on my laptop to force a hard reset. The screen went black and the fan spun down. I breathed a sigh of relief in the sudden quiet. 5 seconds later, before I had even taken my finger off the button, the laptop booted back up on its own. It didn't go to the login screen. It booted straight back to the desktop. The unopened TXT file was still there, but the icon had changed. It was bright red now, and the file name had changed too. It now read, I see you, Mom. My heart started hammering against my ribs. This was way beyond a glitch or a prank. I immediately grabbed a piece of black electrical tape from my junk drawer and slapped it over my built-in webcam lens, something I always laughed at paranoid people for doing. Almost instantly, the video file opened itself. The default media player popped up in full screen. It was a live video feed. It was grainy and black and white, like an old security camera. It showed a view of my living room from a high angle in the corner near the ceiling. I spun around so fast I almost fell off the couch, staring at that corner. There was nothing there, just bare beige wall. I looked back at the screen. The angle was impossible. It showed me sitting on the couch looking down at the laptop. But then I noticed the detail that made my stomach completely drop out. On the screen, the me in the video wasn't moving. He was just sitting there, staring blankly at the computer. I stood up in my living room. On the screen, the video version of me remained seated. I wasn't looking at a live feed. I was watching a recording taken from inside my apartment 5 minutes ago from a camera that didn't exist. Suddenly, the video player minimized, and a small text dialog box appeared in the center of the screen. It just said, "Why did you cover the lens, Tyler? That's rude." Panic finally took over. I slammed the laptop lid shut, hoping to just kill it. From inside the closed laptop, the speakers suddenly blasted full volume. It wasn't music. It was a sound like hundreds of people whispering all at once, layered over a high-pitched static screech. I dropped the laptop on the rug and backed away toward the kitchen. Then I heard a sound from the real world that froze me in my tracks. Beep, beep, click. It was the electronic smart lock on my front door. The deadbolt had just disengaged. I stared at the door handle. Slowly, silently, the brass knob began to turn. I didn't wait to see who was on the other side. I bolted out the sliding glass door onto my patio, jumped the railing, and ran through the parking lot in my socks. I didn't stop running until I got to the 24-hour gas station down the road. When the police showed up and we went back to the apartment, the front door was wide open. The place was empty. Nothing was stolen except for my laptop. The cops filed a report, but I could tell they thought I was on drugs. They said whoever broke in probably stole the computer. I'm staying on a friend's couch right now. I thought by getting away from the apartment I was safe. I really did. But 10 minutes ago, my friend's phone buzzed on the coffee table. He picked it up, looked confused, and showed me the screen. He had just received an airdrop request from an unknown device nearby.